they actually believe the tax cap is 2%.
It is.
Which is the maximum.
However, you told us in the budget meeting, sat down with you, that you already were approved to exceed the tax cap. You file for that every year. And it's approved every year.
No, we don't exceed the tax cap every year. We have to only pay it one other year, which is about 10 years.
You said in the budget meeting that you file for it every year to allow yourself to exceed the tax cap. I'm not saying you do exceed the tax cap. The possibility is there.
What happened was when the tax cap first came out, we were advised, yes, to exceed, or to say we're gonna exceed it, or we're gonna go to exceed it. What we did only 1 year. After about 3 or 4 of those years, we were advised not to override it every year. So that we didn't become a target by the comptroller's office. They come in and they run an audit. All right, well, we want to run an audit, go ahead, it's fine. In fact, we did one here. We started last September, October, finished in March or April. They told us they would be back mid-late summer with the findings, and we have yet to see them. Why, we don't know. However, the interviews that they had with me and Hannah, the department heads, sounded like the town's in good shape. And they said, you know, the only thing they really concentrated on was, health insurance and retirement. Want to make sure that everybody qualified that did, who didn't qualify, didn't. And we had to cut some people out, but anyway, so as they say, we didn't, we were looking at seeing the tax gap initially, we were looking at everything. But as the budget went on, yes, actually, we did pass it to override it if we had to. From what I understand, we don't have to. But also, in 10 years, we were advised to override it. We only did it for like 2 or 3 years, and then they said don't, because you know we're going to get targeted by the comptroller's office.
So you can or cannot override the tax cap right now.
We already did. We passed the law to override it if we have to.
So that's so.
Okay.
Diamond, that 250 that was offered to the fire company, that's a 14% raise the first year. That 3%, 3%, that's 20% over 3 years.
Correct. Now,
Pretty good increase.
I'm not going to say it's not, but it is still not enough. 3% does not even cover partially what our utilities have gone up from last year. Our utilities alone have gone up 35%. The cost of everything is doubling and tripling every year. It's absolutely insanity to try and buy anything right now. You guys all sitting in this room that have anything to do with the public sector know this.
Tyler, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can I ask a question? How does this work?
No, that's right.
Can I ask a, do you know how much of like your 300,000 is like breakdown? Like how much is utilities? How much are you budgeting for each line item? Or do you have like a summary of, is some of that going to fund bills? Is some of it going to like equipment? Do you know what your budget breakdown is for?
Jet, my treasurer right here has breakdowns.
Don't leave it with me though.
No, that's okay. I'm
But-
just curious.
I can tell you right now, where we're sitting at right now, I know I haven't asked. The amount we're getting right now leaves us no extra in our budget. In that 250.
Okay.
And that accounts for the truck payments that we're making. I mean, we have to budget in for those. And there's absolutely no surplus. There's things that need to be done. I'm sorry, I should stand up. I apologize.
Yeah, I get it.
There are things that need to be done to the building. We need new gear. Tyler, how much is one set of gear?
Roughly 10 though.
And we need 10 sets.
Okay.
So there's things that are happening. The building is now 30 years old. There's things that are happening to the building that we do need to plan for. We're simply just asking for the extra so we can plan for those. So we had to take out a loan for the truck. Because we didn't have, we did put a giant down payment on it because we could. But going forward, we don't have anything to set aside. There is not a penny to set aside. And we are literally, we're penny pinching. at this point. So if something drastically happens to the building, happens to any of the trucks, we're done. We're done. We don't have anything to cover that.
So, like over a, say like 5-year period, would you need the same, like say, that same type of, like if you were to have, for example, like the $30,000 or $300,000, would that extra 50, would that be spent every single year? Is it like how much of that goes into your like savings for future purchases?
There will be a chunk of it that can be put into the savings.
Okay.
I'm going to say between 25 and 30,000 maybe put into the savings, if
Okay.
that. But right now I have to focus on making those truck payments. And,
Right.
you know, we as a board can decide how we want to spend that surplus. Do we want to invest in new equipment? Do we want to invest in saving some interest on that truck loan? You know, things like that. Or we do need a slush fund in case.
So along with that, we're gonna call it a slush fund, get it, everybody identifies it as. The way New York State is pushing mandates down our throats is they're pushing cancer initiatives. They're pushing going green. They're pushing all these things that we've never had to deal with before. We have to wash our gear in accordance with. You can't just throw it in the washing machine. You can't just take it to your local laundromat. We don't currently have a gear dryer or gear washer, I'm sorry. But we're still doing it the old fashioned way because, well, we have a washer in the fire hall for washing gear and we have a washer next to it for washing stuff for leagues auxiliary out back and we do fundraisers. There's a lot of things that we haven't kept updating because public safety is our top priority. We're trying to spend our money accordingly while cutting here to put money here, just like everybody does.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we understand that too, because also like we have no plows and things like
Right.
that, so we have to save those costs.
And and you guys
Yeah.
obviously understand that
Sure.
the costs are going
Right.
insane.
Definitely.
It was what, 300,000 for a new truck? Outfitted,
A little more. It
a little more?
was up 150.
Right. So,
Here's, so right now our tax cap is at 2%, so that's like across the board, which the town of Ridgeway has stayed in that 2% tax cap for the taxpayers. Their taxes only go up 2% each year. It has been that way for, I think, like a decade. It's been a while since we've gone over it. So they did that, they did pass the resolution in order to be able to exceed the tax cap. So if I do the math, if we were to increase the 300,000, and obviously the board, this is just running numbers, the board would have to approve this, or this would have to be agreed upon, but that would increase from 2% for the taxpayers, it would go up to 5.1% that they would be now paying,
and that's just on the fire line, correct?
just with adding the fire line. So that would be, yeah, just if we added that difference to the fire line, that's what it would go up.
Because I was gonna say it earlier, but we kind of got into other conversations there.
Sure.
But when you were asking about that 300,000, if that was gonna be a one-time thing,
Right.
I would honestly, that's why we have contracts for 3 to 5 years. This 300,000 would literally be just to get us back to sea level, and then we can probably take 2 or 3% every year on top of that, and then we'd be okay.
Okay.
We just gotta get back to sea level to get out of the inflation bubble.
And like the majority of that, oh, sorry.
Right.
I was just gonna say, so like, some of that 300,000, like maybe that extra, where are you planning to spend that whole amount next year, or some of it will be put into? like,
Some of it will be
fund
put
balance?
into a balance to roll over to next year. So if something happens, like this year, we had to do whole brake jobs on a few of our 1997.
Sure,
We had to put a couple thousand into that truck and a couple thousand into another truck because it's still cheaper to maintain these older trucks than it is to buy a brand new one,
Right.
unless you have to.
yeah, we're gonna get it. There are the numbers there.
So Tyler, the 250, that covers all your expenses for the year. According to your sheet here,
Correct.
that's with a 10% increase next year in your expenses. Then you have 37,000 in fundraising. So
Correct.
actually you'll have a 285,000 budget.
You cannot bank on fundraisers. There's no way. I mean, do we put it in our budget? Yes, but you can't bank on a fundraiser.
You get a pretty good idea, which you do pretty much the same.
Yeah, our last gun raffle was a lot less than any of our previous gun raffles.
By several thousand.
So it's not money that we can rely on.
Because again, the cost to run these things and the cost to buy these prizes and these raffle items are going up as well. And just like the chicken barbecue, which thank you again, John, for donating the chicken. But we are trying not to raise, just like you guys, we are trying not to raise our prices either, because we understand that we're not only raising money, but we are also providing a service to the public by giving them something to do. And it's a long-standing tradition, like the Father's Day barbecue. We can't just drop that and say no. We want to keep doing these things, but at some point, we're almost breaking even on a lot of this stuff. And it's getting harder and harder to get people to come out and do these fundraisers when we're barely breaking even on them. And we're really just doing it out of good faith in the community. And I just want everybody to understand too, when we're sitting here asking for more money, we have zero intentions of buying a ladder truck. I know that rumor's out there. We have zero intentions of buying a ladder truck. Zero. Also, we're not out buying chief's vehicles. We're not buying things that we don't need. There's a lot of fire companies in this county that have chief's vehicles for, I'm not going down that road, but we're not. Chief's vehicles.
You said cheese vehicle.
No. Well, they might as well, but yes, we're not out here spending money, taxpayers' money unwisely. We're not buying booze for the firemen at the fire hall. We're not doing that. It's not 1970, it's not 1980 anymore. It's all for the community, and it all goes back to the community.
You said you have to replace tires and stuff every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
And year, what do you do with the surplus?
What surplus?
Zero tires.
The tires.
Whoever puts them on, we pay for them to get rid of them.
Okay.
There's no reason to keep them around because we can't use them.
Since international.
I mean, yeah, but then
With the gear.
who's the liability going to go on for that when somebody takes a tire that?
Years.
They part of what they buy it as is.
Same with the gear.
And you're
There's
not-
other states that don't have the mandate that New York State does.
Mhm.
There should be some surplus value in some of that stuff.
We're not getting rid of gear.
No, because you use your interior.
Oh, you said you have to replace it every 10 years.
Correct.
Interior.
Correct. But now, like, let me see, Kendall, right here, redhead. She's one of our newer members. She does not get interior gear yet. She's getting the hand-me-downs that the rest of us that have been in for a while have used. It might not fit her very well, but she's getting older gear that isn't certified for interior use anymore. We don't throw away old gear. Somebody's gonna use it for something to keep warm or something.
It's a lot of wear and tear too.
It really, that's what really sucks about it though. It really doesn't. But you're mandated to replace your fire gear every 10 years for an interior firefighter. We're not City of Buffalo. We understand that. We're not running structure fires like they are. What my gear is gonna see in its lifetime is what those guys see in a month. But New York State and the NFPA says we have to replace them every 10 years. Just like the tires have to be replaced every 10 years, no matter how many miles are on the truck. Tires have to be changed out. Johnny, is that something you guys could use at the town when we replace those tires?
I don't know, if they make you guys replace them, I don't want them blowing up.
Right,
I mean, maybe for a farmer it would work, cause
right.
they're in and out of the field, but.
Right.
Then when we're hauling around salt and everything like that, it's just the liability. You're not gonna get them anyways.
No,
At 10 years, they can't even recap them. Wow.
does anybody else have any questions for us? I know there's mostly us in here, but there are some people in here that pay taxes in the town. So is there any questions you guys have for us?
worth it for the taxpayers to make their taxes up to 5%?
If
Are you okay with that?
If your house is on
Is
fire,
it
it
worth
certainly
it for
would.
you when your house burns down?
Oh, yeah, I would say yes,
I mean, you
I
have,
mean,
agreement.
when you say 5%, what is that per thousand? Or what is it, what does that raise somebody's taxes?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on their value of their home, so.
yeah, so how much is it per thousand? I mean, we said it before, we're kind of like insurance. Nobody wants to pay for it until you need it.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree. No, I get you.
And then when you do need it, you hope to God we're there with bells and whistles.
Sure, 100%. No, I agree with you.
I'm gonna state a couple things here.
Sure.
For those of you who don't know me, first of all, I don't like to speak publicly, but here I am. My name is Jason Bessel. I'm a 20-year member of the fire company. Born and raised Village of Medina, Ridgeway side, and since 2008, been a homeowner in the town of Ridgeway. When I was a young kid growing up, grew up born Catholic, raised Catholic. Churches were full, volunteer firehouses were full. They're both empty today. I'm raising a 10 and a 14-year-old. Those most likely are your future volunteer firefighters, because that's where most of your firefighters come from. It's a family legacy. Mine started in 1895 with my great-great-grandfather, Village of Help. So when I hear you firing off about tires and stuff like that, we're mandated, just like you guys are, just like the county is, we're mandated. We're governed by the NFPA, and pardon my language, but if the shit goes bad and you're not meeting those standards, that man wearing that white hat can be held criminally negligent these days, and that's why people won't take the role. We're a necessary evil. We're pouring a ton of time in that. A couple months ago, we were seriously busy with fires. Finally get a date night with my wife. I'm over to Gross's house, battle the barn fire. There's my date night. Use her too. She can solve bar while it's happening. A couple weeks later, down the street from the supervisor's house, I left for work at 3:30 that morning on a Thursday. A little after 11, I'm on Fruit Avenue. Left there at 4 a.m., went home, took a shower, and worked till 5:30 that night, paving in the city of Rochester. It was a week, 48 and a half hours, given to my community. I'm not trying to push. I understand everything is tight. I am a taxpayer in this town. But if you don't like paying for us, wait till you're paying career firefighters. You think 5% is bad? And you gotta give us some morale. Since 2017, I've chaired the 3 last pieces of apparatus. We have a 1996 International Pierce truck, looked beautiful on the outside, went in for routine service, the frame rails were shot. 260 to fix it, for 315, we went into a new truck, doing our homework. Needed a new light rescue to answer all these EMS calls. 200,000 just to start with a basic truck through a fire apparatus manufacturer. We bought a cabin chassis from a local dealer, bought a body for it, upfit it for 118, we were into that, being responsible. Our last engine, we just bought our 25, 868,000. No frills, has shiny wheels, but money was put into galvanized frame rails so we didn't have issues like the old trucks. Stainless steel body, it won't rot. Aluminum wheels won't rust like our current steel wheels on the trucks that we have. Our truck from 2010 was 435, the 25 was 868. We're just trying to survive too. And if we've got ideas like that as a town board, as a fire company, instead of coming and meeting like this, you guys should come to some of our meetings too. We'll take your input. We're all on the same team at the end of the day.
And I will take that deep, as far as coming here for meetings.
We're all on the
that's my
same
bad.
team.
I'm sorry.
But we're a dying breed, and I'm telling you, we see what's happening in the village of Medina. We see what's happening here. I've been here for 20 years. I've never stood in this office and we've never argued about money. But we're drowning too, just like everybody else. It's not good. And in 2 years, you're going to have solid numbers with the study. And I think a lot of people's eyes are going to be opened by it.
Yeah, Brian,
A lot
have
of
you
people's eyes will be open.
told any of the board members about the studies that are happening in the county?
I was gonna do it tonight,
Okay,
but I sent them an email and they wanted to go to the meetings. And I gave them an idea.
gotcha.
I said, you know, you and I sat next to each other, with everybody around the county. And it's basically the same. And then that, they talked about, they have fire district in Winterville.
Yes,
And they closed it because the tax rate went crazy.
no,
No, they still got a fire district.
They're still a.
they didn't close anything.
Yeah.
Just one,
It was owned by the village of Lindenville and they contracted with the town,
okay,
but those contracts stalled.
yes,
So they established a joint district for the town and the village. It's a separate entity now. And the bills are on all the taxpayers, the town and the village equally.
The impression I got from Sir and you know, Simon, thank you, is that they do away with the district and because the building went up to the cash rate went up so high.
They have not done away with the district. And I know that their budget doubled by going to a district.
Yeah, and over here and that, but no, we talked about all that. Even to the point
And they have a Chinese cheese vehicle.
of giving somebody a little opportunity to solve the building. Maybe I should say that.
And I do want to give the town board credit for this, and I wish I would have said this when I started, but I do appreciate having a board that's very fiscally responsible and takes care of us as a taxpayer, I do. But we've got to meet somewhere in the middle too. If we're going to continue to be able to serve this community. Because I'll tell you right now, if you drive up to our fire hall on the west side, there's a memorial stone. 1951, there were how many members that started that fire company seeing a need for protection in this town? 52, they were incorporated. And I don't want to see the place fail. I don't. I have family that served there, and I respect the people that started that company. And every time I go out with that company, I think of that in this town in my mind when I'm doing it.
Thank you. We try to watch the money. I told people one of the first things I did when I got into this was to say no. And I mean, we've said no to the state and the federal government when they come along with what they call free money. Well, we all know that's not free.
No such thing.
Yeah, and you know, there's always something behind it, and they can't believe we say no. And then we can add some crap too, so.
I just got one more quick thing.
Right.
I really hope you guys aren't taking like us showing up here as an attack. I really don't. Like this wasn't an intimidation thing whatsoever. But when I told you in our meetings, our closed door meetings, I'm not having the recruitment issue that other people are having. This is actually, believe it or not, a small chunk of our membership.
I know we even heard that at the county, they were saying how Ridgeway, 4 or 5 new members.
I since I've been chief, this is my 3rd year as being chief. I think we're somewhere around 30 to 40 new members.
And I know other places are nothing.
Right.
Did you find that price per thousand by any chance?
Do you want just for the fire line or the total?
Yes.
Yeah, but right now I know I'm paying 71 cents a thousand, so.
Let's see. So this should actually be.
That's all it should raise, right?
This is. Oh, I didn't calculate on this. Yeah, just if you're gonna calculate. Be 311. Yeah. 11. Yeah.
But anyway, Tyler, before they get there, no, we don't take this as an attack. In fact, we welcome you. In fact, this is the most people we've had in. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we may get nobody, it's just us. And a lot of the other times, we may get the students in the government class. Okay, well, good meeting, then we get the lead from the village, and that's it. So we don't, this is not an attack.
Oh,
Appreciate you being here.
Right.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Can I say something?
Sure.
My name is Mark Sadowski. I've been in the fire company since 1978. Been a member, been chief, assistant chief and all that. And I believe what's put us in the money situation is all the mandates. The mandates are killing us. We need to have a smoke ejection thing for our trucks for the diesel fuel. And we don't even have them. So we could get pinched for that. And that's $50,000 right off the bat. And I just don't think you guys know all the mandates we're under. It's unbelievable.
Now, I understand your part, Jim, because then we have ours.
Yeah.
And they come to me with all this stuff, and they say, well, you know, they propose something, and we just try to push back and say why. And then the typical answer we always get, oh, it's mandated. what I understand is only two states in this country that have mandates, New York and someplace in the Midwest.
But all these mandates cost a lot of money.
Yes, and then like, you think about, I understand, yes. 30 years ago, we saw there were a lot more people here. And there were a lot of people living here.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was trying to get friends and relatives that are not here because they moved.
And also, when I joined, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have all the social stuff we got now. So fundraising, that was our social activity. That's why we had so much fundraising, because that was our group then. Nowadays, there's so much to do, people just don't have the time to do this many fundraising stuff. And
And then again, going back to laws, I mean, what's a big no was a big thing with fire companies. It's like the churches and all that. Like, so yeah, they do, well, you can't smoke in the building. So, okay, so lots of people don't go in that.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if we were to take the 300, which ends up being 311 because we paid for the workers' comp. That's what that is. The rate per thousand would be $1.18. So for a house, I just did the math for a house that's at 150, which probably is pretty low. It would go from 127 last year to 177 this year. So it'd be essentially $50 more in there.
No offense, but that's pennies when it comes down to it.
Right. And I know you guys are, of course, have to answer to the people if you raise their taxes. And you asked for things to tell them when you were approached about why you raised their taxes for this. We gave you that information. And if that still doesn't work, if they're still in here hot and heavy, 11392 Ridge Road, 7 p.m. Tuesday night. You're more than welcome to, I can write it on the court board out there. They're more than welcome to stop up. We can show them exactly where every cent is going.
I understand, but again, when I started, we didn't have anybody here during the was it public hearings? And I asked the clerk at the time, I said, is there something wrong? And she said, well, one or two things. One, they're okay with what you're doing and they're saying, go ahead. Or she said, they're so ticked off that they're saying they forget it. I'm not even gonna bother. But she said, either way, you're gonna hear it out there. They may not come to the meeting, and she's right. She was right, she is right. I mean, they hear it at the post office, the bank, gas station, wherever.
And I will take that.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're asking me and I try to keep board informed. So when you're out there, they can answer the question there. They don't have to, kind of look at it and say, well, you have to call the supervisor. No, I try to, send it out. I tell them emails, have copies in the mailboxes. Again, so when you're someplace, you can answer the question right there. So no, I understand. And like I say, they may not be here, but you'll hear it out there, and that's fine. I mean, if they have questions, they have a right to. They're paying taxes.
They won't be met with anger or anything. They will just be met with, hey, take a walk. Let me show you around. Let me see show you what we do.
Right. So
Tyler, if we could, I'm just saying this is maybe as a suggestion, okay? Comment and a suggestion. I've been involved with I was not involved directly in the negotiations this time. I have been in the past, and it's generally gone pretty smooth. And, the requests have never come in this big. We're aware of, the mandates and stuff like that. What we get, we're not totally aware of all yours, but we understand that they do happen. And I do understand the concept, Jen, about it's just $50 more, but there's an awful lot of people in this county. It's a very poor area with people on fixed incomes, and they're not just, if you look at that just $50 more as a singular issue, you're right. I can't disagree with it. It's $50 more from the town. It's $100 more from the school and another $150 from the county and how much more. It's the stacked effect. When we went through all the stuff back, what was it, 10 years ago with the village dissolution and all those discussions, one of the, I remember somebody brought in a chart with the amount of you know, with the amount of taxes. It wasn't just the singular thing, it was the total stack that people pay. So yes, we do try to be responsible. And we want to have a good fire company, we want to have a good highway department, we want to have good people working here and stuff like that. But the one thing that I kind of notice in this is, you know, when you come in with a request that's, I mean, by any standard that we've gone by in the past, it's huge. It's, you know, it's like, oh, it's most, you know. One thing about contracts is, yes, we do it every 3 years or every 5 years, whatever it is. But this was very much a surprise to the board. And when you see your budget, these budget problems, I think I could, most everybody probably feel the same way, that instead of surprising us at a 3-year interval, let us know what's going on. Let us know what's going on, because this is kind of like, you know, we've never had a request that comes in, you know, when you're at 212,000, you're coming and asking for over 3. It's like, whoa, what's going on? And that's where communication can really help.
I agree.
To, you know, to make that jump, that's a big,
So,
but, you know, to expect a huge, you know, like a 50% jump in a year is, that's a tough start. It's a tough start.
I understand where you're coming
But
from.
maybe it's something that can be worked out over time.
Now, just like most things in the world right now, the contracts were not negotiated properly in the last 10 years. Enough wasn't asked for. So now we're in a hole. We're trying to get out of this hole.
So you inherited this.
Yes.
Do you have a PR person? Do you publicize just what you're telling us? Because I'm sitting here learning as you're talking. If you inherited the loss, and I know mandates are like they are. But-
So I shouldn't say that I inherited the problems that we're incurring in the fire company,
Yeah.
but these mandates, really, a lot of them came from COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I'm not sure how COVID has something to do with firefighting, but it does.
It has something to do with everything.
Right.
Change.
And unfortunately, like you said, a lot of these people are on fixed incomes. I understand that. I will be there someday. However, they are the ones that utilize our services the most. Yeah. A lot of the calls, we don't even have Medina's ambulance come to because it's just a lip assist. Literally lip assist only. Somebody fell down, we gotta go pick them up.
2 in the last 24 hours.
Yes. That's a lot of the reason our call volume is so high. It's 4 EMS calls like that. But I get this is a lot to spring on at one time. That's why we tried to reach out earlier. I believe it was in February when we first started our contract negotiations, or attempted to start our contract negotiations.
I wasn't part of the team for negotiations, but did you present a list and where you're
Yes, ma'am.
really hurting and
Yes.
for the amount, because it's coming from the state?
It's coming from everywhere. But yes,
The mandates
yes,
are coming fast and furious.
and they don't stop.
No, they don't. And that's what I think people need to gain knowledge as to what you're doing and how you need to continue it with a lot of the systems.
And the last few years, thanks to Justin over here, we have done an incredible amount of community outreach.
Especially on
Incredible.
Facebook.
With bringing kids up to the firehouse and doing training with them. You just had, what, 30 kids up there, homeschool kids? That they ran through, they brought the county fire training trailer over that we store for them usually. It's it's been pretty crazy the last few years. When I tell you we've made leaps and bounds over the last 5 years, we've made incredible progress with the community and everything that we do, and catching up on the mandates and getting familiar with the mandates. The only place we're lacking now is funding.
Well, you have approached it in the least aggressive way. Everyone's speaking back and forth and you're educating all of us at one time. And that's good. And Jason, I hope you get a night out with your wife.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
And I will be making an attempt to come to all the town meetings from now on, because I realize that after doing negotiations with you guys, you are just, to put it right out there, you are uneducated about this. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
It's not your fault.
I think if I can wait for that, I used to be at your meetings. Yeah, Tuesday nights, Wednesday.
Wednesday nights.
Yeah. In fact, I've got it marked on my calendar. And with, not to sound like an excuse, but with everything else, so, I mean, I gotta wait for that.
Yep.
Yeah, because I used to come in and, we used to go around the room and they would ask me, what do you tell them? Give an update.
Yep.
So, we should get back into that.
It would be much appreciated if you came, Tyler, to,
You were someone else.
yeah.
Yes.
Right, right.
If I can't make it, I will send somebody.
I mean, they have their place on the budget or on the agenda. We ask the fire company report, and usually if someone's not here, they send them to Wayne will read it for us.
I'm just curious, earlier you had mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're asking for the increase, 300,000. But you would be willing to do the 2 or 3% for the next 4 years after that? Did I hear that correctly? Just,
I don't know if we do, we probably would, we have to vote on it.
you're right, right.
But the 300,000, it's not an increase, it's to get to 300,000 for our total budget. Or our total from the town check. After that, it would be, yes, the 2 to 3 per year, because that 300 would just get us back up to sea level. So we can start catching up on things we need to catch up on.
And was that brought up at your talks together when you were negotiating?
Yes. We're not necessarily trying to go for a 1 or 2 year contract with that price, because we understand it's a giant jump. We get that. But I wouldn't see why the membership, if we get to 300,000 with a 2 or 3% increase the years after, why we wouldn't do a 4-year contract at least. A 3 or 4.
And you're still in negotiation,
Yes,
right?
yes. I'm just saying I wouldn't understand why our membership wouldn't go for a 3 to 4 year contract at that point.
As long as we can get it.
Maybe.
Fine. I think, you really help the town board, understand your point of view collectively. And as a lifelong resident of this community, I can't say enough about the Ridgeway Volunteer Fire Department. Neither can these guys. They're your best advocates. But I think you should get more meetings scheduled, and try and, hammer out a contract. And I think the big increase was a lot for the town board to swallow. But I think you might be able to make up some of that, maybe a 5% next year, 4%, 3%, 2%. There's all the different ways to schedule a contract. So I think if you keep working with the town, they'll work back with you, right?
Yeah. I have one last question. Do you run out, just out of that, like a lot of weddings and everything have occurred? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Do you still go, does that bring in money? too?
yes, it does.
Okay. I know There's a lot of things that need to be.
not as much as we'd like it to. So we had to do, so the fire department, the firehouse was built in 92. So that was all original stuff there. We had to replace both HVAC units with the rec hall just after COVID, I believe. Yes, that was what we used the ARPA fund from, the ARPA money. That was somewhere around 50 to 60,000, 55, 60,000 to do that. Yeah, right. So we're also designated as a Red Cross warming facility. So we have to maintain these units in our rec hall to make sure it's 100% ready to be a warming center at any given time during the winter months, just like the Christmas storm. We have to go man the station. We have to go provide, if people call, we have to go transport them to our warming center. And
Just
there's,
want to shed a little light on something with that rec hall too. So we all know through the years, just down the street, the Gallagher, beautiful venue. White Birch, beautiful venue. Those are the things we're up against. Years ago, everybody did fire hall weddings. Couldn't beat them. It's not, the market's not there anymore.
I don't know why, because people save so much
The
money.
world today wants to flash, so they're spending the money at these big venues, so you're losing out on that money. Bingo, going back to bingo. When the casinos got big, Batavia Downs, all that, they were all your bingo customers. Because I
And
used to
smoking.
work them every
And
Friday.
smoking.
Well, smoking too, but the casinos killed it. Once you had that, then that was the end of the bingo. That's where the money was going.
Okay, against them, but the, Knights of Columbus, they just announced they built that elevator in the back. And then so the weekend they said they've got 4 events scheduled and they said they've had inquiries for others.
They kind of kick us back a little bit for that.
Yeah.
They,
There's quite the
We-
donation that goes back and forth.
we cook their chickens. They give us a very generous donation, cooking their chickens for them.
Oh, okay,
And the Knights of Columbus is not nearly as big as the rec hall.
I know.
So we do our best to make as much money as we can without draining the public more than we already are, because we're obviously different from the same pot that Shelby, East Shelby, and Carlton, and Heartland, and Middleport, and everybody else is for raffles as well. We try our best not to step on anybody's toes, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Because again, there is only so much money to go. Understand that.
We have to talk to Joanne. This increase. How to do it. And because we're going to, well, we're looking at passing the budget tonight, but the budget as it is 250. Now, we talk about raising it, we're probably gonna have to have a special meeting.
Do a resolution to change one fund.
Oh, we
And
have
then
it,
change
all
it.
right, okay, we'll do it then. We don't have to do a special meeting. Right, no, nothing to feel about it.
I only feel bad.
Staying for voting.
Okay, all right, okay. Jeff?
We're gonna do it.
Okay. That's good.
Instant stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Be hard in front of them. Maybe, postponing the tabling it. I don't know.
Can you postpone that one item, Joanna?
I mean, our budget's due on the 20th, which is there's. So if you want to do a meeting sometime this week between now and then. you can do that.
20th?
Our final budget is due the county of November.
They have to send it to the state.
If you want to chat more, you'd have to do it sometime between now and Thursday. I would wonder if, like, my only thing is if we do 5% this year, so like a 2% increase for the tax cap total in dollars is like 32,247. So that's our total tax cap for the whole town, including the fire department, if we did 2% this year. So if we raise it to 5, that means next year, that puts us over what our 2% would be next year. So we'd have to go over the tax cap again, few years in a row. Just to help the other funds. So if we did a lot for the fire department this year, next year, we have to make sure like our highway department is okay, like our other stuff, so that we're not using fund balance. Our savings, not draining our savings so that we can buy new equipment and stuff here. So that would be my only thing. We're gonna have to do it multiple years in a row. It won't be a one-time breaking the tax cap this year. We'll have to do it probably again next year. In order to, if we're doing starting 2,300, if we're going up from there, then we'll have to break the tax cap again next year to keep that up. Would be my thought, which will just be, it would cost the taxpayers more, but like I even would think, what if we even did, well, but you're saying 300 is your like hard line, but even 275 would help our side of things, but I don't know how much that pinches you as far as what, you know.
So what if looking at it, we did a 275 this year, then a 25,000 raise next year to get us to that 300,000 quicker? Because like I said, this is to get us out of the bubble.
Right.
So we can't really
Yeah, no.
spread this out over a 4-year
Sure.
contract to get to the 300,000.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I think, yeah, it just, for us all in one year, it also pulls from other, in order for us to do that without like raising it to 10%, we're using a good chunk of like some of our fund balance for like highway and for general fund. We're using some of that to like hit that, if we were trying to hit that 300 mark. Whereas if even just 275 would help us breathe a little bit more so that next year, we're just not such a tight squeeze on all the other funds to make it work. And while also keeping the tax cap, you know.
Just brought up here, this is actually a public hearing. We shouldn't be negotiating during a public hearing.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, no, we don't.
Good. I didn't know anything.
No,
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Sorry
about that.
And we've got what you say, 3 days?
Yes.
Okay,
So yeah, you guys could,
are you available, Joanna?
sure.
Okay. Anyone?
After 4.
After 4? Pardon me. Yeah. Well, I say start tomorrow, get it done as possible, could be able to 20th?
Right.
Okay.
You got enough time for it?
Yeah, Tyler?
Yes.
All right, after 4 or after 4 or when?
Let's do like 4:10, 4:15, because I work in Middleport, so I can be here pretty quickly.
Either you,
I'd be
Jen,
there. Marisa.
Jen, Marisa.
okay. And so. Right. Megan. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we've got 4 here, okay? And when tomorrow, say 4:15, 4:20,
Sooner the better, right?
yeah, just make it, we wait. In this room? In this room, yeah. Trying to fit us all in the other one. Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we can try to get it done as quickly, yeah, as soon as possible, like they said, we have to have it done by 20. If not, then the county's gonna be calling. Okay, right?
You can have the phone. You can put on the okay.
Then we'll also schedule another meeting to approve final budget.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Right. So then we have to schedule another meeting on, say, the 20th. Pass it do it on the time, within the deadline, then go from there. Okay?
They don't all have to be there.
No,
So I think what you need to do is adjourn this
public hearing.
board meeting, not the public hearing, because you're done with the public hearing. You're gonna resume negotiations with the fire department contract tomorrow.
Right.
If that can get hammered out, then you have a resumption of this meeting that you're adjourning until the 20th. You're gonna adjourn the vote on the budget until the 20th. Correct?
I'm wondering, maybe the rest of the business, could be the rest of the business, right?
Yeah, we can do everything except for 8A. And we're gonna adjourn this town board meeting until the 20th after you have the fire department contract negotiations tomorrow.
Yeah, if we want to show up tomorrow, get this hammered out. And can we finish it tomorrow?
If you set the adjourn time for this meeting tomorrow, yes.
We have vote.
Yeah, our membership still has to vote on.
We can't finalize the contract without voting. Just so
Well, we can finalize our budget without your vote.
Right.
Whether you agree with it or
Right.
not. Whether, if you can't get a contract hammered out,
Right.
then you keep working on a contract. We got next year's budget to deal with.
Right?
Fair enough.
Right. Okay, so. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Oh.
I didn't want to step on the firefighters. I'd like to add a couple, it's my annual, pitch. I've never done it in front of a crowd before. My annual speech, I'm sorry. And, for what it's worth, I'll pay for mine and two of my neighbors, so thank you guys for what you guys are doing. You also pay Kathy a little more for coming in clutch on the open meeting situation. That was very clever. And then I brought a handout this time for you guys, but I didn't bring enough because I've never, you mind taking one and passing them down? Thank you. Cause, it's my written explanation for the, request for you guys to move the snow removal from the park town budget, from the town-wide budget that encompasses the village into the, into the only Ridgeway outside the village. And the reason that I'm making that request is I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything illegal or improper. It's perfectly legal to maintain the budget as you guys have written it, but because a large portion of Ridgeway residents do live within the village, I'm hoping you guys can take a particular interest in the fact that the people inside the village are paying to have snow removal within the village and outside of the village in the town of Ridgeway. And the folks in the town of Ridgeway outside of the village are paying for snow removal on the roads outside of the village. The same situation was in Shelby. I've attended both meetings year after year and continue to ask for this change. This year, Shelby did make that change. I'm hoping that Ridgeway and Kind will do the same. I'm not asking for an increase or decrease of anything, so it shouldn't do too much to the overall budget, but because it would shift funds from the town-wide highway budget into the park town, that it would go from the DA into the DB, which again, legally, it can go in either one, but I'm hoping as good stewards of the folks who live in Medina, you guys would be interested in the village proper, you guys would be interested in making that shift. I don't really understand what the rationale would be to keep it as is, where the entire village residents and non-village residents in the town of Ridgeway are paying for snow removal in both, and the outside village town of Ridgeway residents only pay the outside. In the interest of making that equitable, I was hoping you guys would be interested in making that move over. And if not, I am hoping that you guys can give me something I can share with the rest of my neighbors about why we would continue to keep them in only in the full townwide rather than to the outside. So I want to make sure it wasn't just fire you guys had to talk about, make sure that there's lots of opportunity for discussion.
2 days before the budget.
every year. So you've had, this is my 5th year, so you've had a good long time to consider this.
This is the first I've seen this.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been on a piece of paper, but if you check the minutes, I'm here every year for this exact stuff. In fact, the first year, ambulance was in this class, and Joanna did fix that for us, so, yeah, that was way back. But, yeah, no, I mean, annually, it's my martial on legs, you know what I'm here for, it's by the time I just had jokes for no one in this room, not one of you. But, yeah, I just desperately would like to see that shifted over, and if you guys can't do it this year, I'm hoping you guys are as willing to share with us the rationale behind it, so that, as this topic continues to come up, I can share something different then. I don't know, I asked. Thank you.
Okay, so now, again, public hearing is closed, and we'll go on with the rest of the meeting. Okay, Kathy?
Thank you. And you're adjourning well, you're not adjourning the public hearing, you're closing it.
Right.
You're, at the end of this, you're gonna adjourn the, budget vote. And if you want to reschedule it for tomorrow, if you think you'll be done by 7, reschedule it for tomorrow at 7. Or reschedule it for the 20th.
Right, so now, call the regular meeting to order. Ask everyone to please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Accept the agenda and consent. Let's keep it. Under new business A. We'll move that. Okay, yeah, 8A. Okay, remove that. And there's an addition, D, the resolution for water district 4, House Kathy.
I think there's 3.
Three, okay.
3.
3, okay. 3, all right. Yeah. Right. Any other changes, corrections, additions, deletions? If not, yes, the motion and a second to accept the agenda. Okay, we got Jeff, second.
Second.
Good, all in favor? Aye. Now, I should say, if any of you want to leave because the public hearing's over, you're welcome to. I mean, just very welcome to stay. We'll just go down through the rest of it, except for, as I say, 8A. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So the agenda, right, next, approval of the minutes of the October 20th, 2025 meeting. Any additions, corrections, deletions? Jeff, second? Second. By Mary, all in favor? All opposed, okay. All right, communications, A, we got a DEC call verifying the ordinance, that they remain significant work on for the last 3 or 4 months, give Kathy credit for pushing the county.
Did they ask for it again?
Yes. I actually had 3 or 4 phone calls for emails. And the last one, this lady signed off on the message and she had a whole group of people that she was gonna copy. None of them had emails. And I responded to her. And well, again, I got a little snarky and I said, no, this is the 4th or 5th time you people have asked me this. Whenever you do that, they come back and they say, well, I'm just a contractor. And I think they're just trying to justify the fee.
I don't understand why we have to give it to them 4 or 5 different times, but thank you for giving it to them a 5th time.
Is that the county?
No, each
Oh,
town
easy
had to
grade
do,
too.
each town had to do a flood
Yes.
local law.
We in the county, what the county planning board said, Kathy, what everybody was using about it. Well, thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
All right. All right. Next, we also heard from Tompkins Insurance. They've been sold to a company called Galvin Financial, which I guess is out of, I think it's out of Maryland or someplace. But according to them, nothing will change. Everything will be the same. Wait and see.
Yeah.
Six months from now, we're getting all the letter. Anyway, just to let everyone know. The C, excuse me, traffic diversion proceeds. This is that, they call it the, driver education program. You have to go to classes, $1,200 from the court. I think that's our part. We have to send the other part to the state, another mandate. Next, during break time, we're in this one, we have the emergency manager meeting with the county. I stayed for the full 2 hours.
No.
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 Yeah, I was gonna say, no, you got to be back at the hour.
Yes.
It wasn't bad, it was, pretty informative, but, nice to have them, nice that they're thinking on it. We'll see what happens with the consultants they hired. They keep talking about a county-wide fire district. They got that right.
So partially,
Okay.
it's illegal for us to go to countywide fire in New York State.
Yeah. Right.
So we can't do that.
Yeah.
So if Brian hasn't filled everybody in on what the county is actually doing with this, I can do it real quick. They hired a consulting company to come in and look at all of our numbers across the entire county, every fire company. Look at your station, look at your apparatus, look at everything you have, everything you offer. And there's a lot of information they're going to start asking from all of us in the different fire companies. And they're going to compile this information and pretty much tell us what would happen if we went to everybody being paid, or like what would we do to the tax? Obviously, it would explode our taxes. But what it would do if we went somewhat paid, accommodation departments across, like each battalion has a center, east, and west has a accommodation department. And I guess it's just going to be a tool to show people. Really, I was completely against it at first, but now that I'm actually learning more about it, it kind of seems like it's going to justify the existence of the volunteer fire service, because it's obviously one of the cheapest options. But it's just going to be literally them compiling data to figure out where everybody should go and how they should do it. And they're looking into whether Medina should separate the ambulance from the fire department, or how they're going to do it, contract an ambulance, do this way, do that way. They're literally going to look at every possible aspect and avenue and how much to break it down to how much it's going to cost taxpayers. It's a lot of work for us.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And, okay. That's DO communication. Any other questions on that? No, all right, we'll go to the date of the next meeting, the workshop is December 9th, 7 p.m. here. The board meeting is December 15th, 7 p.m. here. Everything gets moved up at least a week because of the holidays. Right? Any questions? No? No old business, new business. A, bring off. B, resolution. This is reappointment of Tim Elliott for the main member and Township as the backup to the county planning board. We have to do this now because the county planning board has to send it to the county legislature for approval. So they've been asking anybody that is up for the appointment, do it now. Tom used to be the main member. Tim was the backup, but they decided to switch. Tom is kind of retiring, and Jim was nice enough to say, I'll take it. Okay? Any questions on that? If not, ask for a resolution to do the appointment. Okay, moved by Mary, second. Second by Cliff, all in favor? Okay. C, resolution, re-levy of the water bill for 2026 county and town tax bills. We do this every year. This is for people that are way behind. We send it to the county. Basically, what happens is the county puts them on the tax bill. I got the list from Joel, and she asked us to say that. Okay. Ask for a motion in a second, please. Okay, moved by Dwayne, second. Second by Jeff, all in favor? Okay. Next, resolution, Candy, how you want water? Yeah, water.
You need a resolution to add 3 parcels. Johnny will give you the addresses to Hannah so she can put it in the resolution. To be placed on, as an extension to water district number 4 and allow them to hook up to the public water system as extended and to also pay the debt service for district 4. This was the extension that those 3 parcels should have been in the initial district 4 when we did it 20 years ago, and they were just missed, which happens. District 4 was big. It had numerous, I think it had over 2,000 parcels in it. So the town has been putting in the extension water line for that. So you just need a resolution to allow them to be added on to the district and to pay the debt service and get the public water.
Do you get all that?
Did I talk too fast?
I got it just.
Okay, good.
Right, we have a motion in a second. Moved by Cliff. By Jeff, all in favor? Okay, next. Great. Reports. Howard, is there anything else?
So let's start here. What do you guys want in these reports? What do you guys want to know?
We were really using the format that I guess John Marshall was using. Gave my calls,
Any new members,
new members.
different kinds of calls,
Okay,
EMS.
not a problem.
Numbers per call.
Okay,
Chief concern today.
fair enough. So
Need to be aware of too.
this last Wednesday, we swore in a new member, Josh Miller. We also voted in a new member, Jason Rushing. So he'll be getting back in or off into the rotation, I should say. Did you guys get a call or a update for September, or am I on October?
We had September.
You guys have number?
I don't remember.
Okay, so we'll do October then. We had 2 brush fires. We had 4 mutually structured fires. We had 6 EMS calls, 2 MVAs, 1 smoke investigation, because every so often we get somebody that calls in the silos over by the fairgrounds. It's good. Yeah. 1 vehicle fire and 1 hazardous condition with a brush fire involved with it. I don't have members per call on me. I know we have a pretty good turnout usually for a lot of things, unless it's 3 a.m. and it's a lift assist, then it's usually Buford and a couple other people.
The question we have on that is when you break it down by hours, it usually comes out to like 25. I'm trying to figure out where you got that half number.
They were just the shorter members.
Okay.
Half numbers for like how much time we were on scene.
So you're like average 6.5 per call.
Oh, okay. The only way I can think of is that somewhere, some way, the standard or whatever the higher powers it be determine that an EMT is worth a half a point or a firefighter is worth a half a point or who knows?
Okay.
Or a non-EMT, non-real firefighter yet. I'm not sure how that number actually gets broken down.
Or their treasurer showing up with water.
Yeah. Because I know when we get called for like FEMA calls or anything, like if we ever go down to the southern tier or anything during the flooding, and there's the way the federal government works it out is the man hours per truck is different based off of how they pay back. I don't know. A class A pumper is worth like $400 something an hour per person on there. And then a light utility is worth like $150 an hour per person on there. There's a lot of breakdowns to that.
That's fine. Thank you.
Brian, I think it would be helpful if they did just a quick line budget to actual for the month. So we know if, what their numbers are for that month. To report with their monthly meeting. Because they have that information each month at their meeting. What their budget to actual is, see if they're in the red or the black and what they're spending. You can provide that, right?
That's fine.
We can do that.
Right. Right would be departments. Yeah.
Right. Okay, we're busy with water bills and monthly licenses. That's been the entire last month. Crazy busy. Ready to shift into tax season next month. That's all I got.
Okay, yeah.
The county, speaking of taxes, the county in-rem tax foreclosure auction will be February of this year. It got pushed back. It's usually late fall, early fall. Late fall was last year. It got pushed back because of the new in-rem procedures we have to do now that the state mandates. And the treasurer didn't want to do it around the holidays. So it's going to be in February, the county tax auction.
Anything else?
Nope.
Yeah, did you read Julie's? Yeah. Please. This is our assessment.
For October, there was 19 homes on the market in Ridgeway. 8 out of 19 are pending. 7 were sold in October and 4 new ones went on the market. Average sale price is $194,817. And she's still looking for a board of assessment. This is not interesting, but I'm just going to forward. She's still looking for 2 board of assessment review members. So we did put an ad in the paper, I haven't had anybody, so start talking to all your friends, your Ridgeway residents. You don't live in Ridgeway,
No, I don't, but I have a question. What number? I'm not sure if it's new business or old business or where it falls into the meeting, but I'll wait till we're done with this.
Okay. We have an open session at the end. But
Okay, it does pertain to the town though. Okay.
let me see. John?
Wrapping up a few small projects. The end of the year is coming faster than I would like it to. We've had a really busy year, but that water line project at Noseville Eagle Harbor Road got health department approval. We turned it on, put it in service today. There should be a couple of people up there drawing. Working in the shop and plowing snow already. A little early. That's it.
Okay. Right, no legislative report. Village, yes, anything else?
Sure. So, one thing in the whole like cup and ball game we've been playing, a little shell game to try to find us, we are now at the Shelby Town Hall. So our meetings are gonna be their normal times, except for December, we're gonna have one consolidated meeting in the center of the month. I don't remember the date, but it's that third week in the middle. instead of the second and fourth, to avoid the holiday travel times. And the other thing, this coming March, we typically do our elections on the Tuesday there, but because of St. Patrick's Day falling on that Tuesday this year, we have to move our election to the 18th. So if you're a village resident, you need to vote for your village. It's 2 trustees and a mayor up this time around. So if you are going out to cast your vote, you will be doing it a day later this coming year.
All right, thank you.
Bet.
St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right, council meeting reports. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
He's just in on the week.
Yeah, I thought maybe,
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Dan, I'm sorry.
okay. I presently in the building every day, Monday, Tuesday, just to stop in and retrieve messages. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I usually work an hour in and out of one inspection. I want to congratulate the board and all those involved in the transition of code enforcement officer. Congratulations to Aaron. Taking that position. Got 65 or more building permits here to date. And I've been working on them, trying to get a lot of them folks out. There's quite a few for the town of Ridgeway. Happy to fill in the training for Aaron, whatever the board sees fit. 2-3 hours a week until Aaron gets up to speed. And that's what I have.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Like to introduce our new officer, Aaron.
December.
December 8th, okay.
It's a long move.
Yeah.
We've met him at the end, so it's good.
Next. Motion, pay the bills. In a second. Please, okay, move by Jeff, second. Wayne, all in favor? All opposed. Okay, all right, now, open session.
Yeah, you literally just answered it with code enforcement.
Oh,
I'm good.
okay, all right.
I was just wondering if we were gonna fill the spot or if we're gonna keep an interim person in there.
No, we've been, Barry can tell you how long. we've been working. And we.
Wow.
Yes, we, interviewed the last 4 candidates last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we, chose Aaron, and he's gonna start, register for the classes to be certified and all that, so, yeah.
Should we put a resolution on to hire him?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that.
All right, we can do that now. All right. Motion and second to hire Aaron.
I'm so excited.
Aaron, you won't? Wait.
No,
I know, I wrote Dan.
Yeah, just, yeah, I see. Just, okay.
There's no nepotism. Yeah, no.
Yeah, the code enforcement officer for the town of Ridgeway. Right, the motion and a second.
Motion.
Made by Mary, second.
Second.
Somebody get all 3 of you. Okay, Cliff, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, Aaron, you're official.
So we can call him now.
Yes.
Second, December 8th. How bad did he
Until
do?
December 8th to call Dan.
Just have a phone number. December 8th.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Don't talk about. Oh, we have students tonight. I usually sit Jerry on them. Oh, nice, okay. Yeah, just bring your phone up front. Usually Jerry will, pass out the quizzes.
Don't listen to him.
Just kidding, guys. Okay.
It's a big test next week. Yeah. No.
Motion to adjourn. Moved by Cliff, second. Second. By Jeff, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, you know,